Hey everybody, coming at you with kind of a quicker one here. With this Frank Lampard kind of business, I kind of always didn't really like him as a manager, even at Chelsea. Maybe with the benefit of hindsight, maybe especially, but I don't really like some of his post-match press conferences and defeat. He seems very sour in defeat. He especially noticed it and confirmed it, of course, when he lost to Spurs. But now I've been kind of getting wind of some of these quotes that he gave with Crystal Palace, and it really is a reflection of some of the things I just maybe don't like about Frank Lampard. And I think it will kind of come through here in these quotes before I really summarize them. Again, it seems like I think you can all read it for yourselves. You can see in that first one right there, he's not really showing any sort of kindness or any sort of respect towards Patrick Vieira, or really showing any respect, towards Crystal Palace, and a pretty big defeat. Pretty embarrassing defeat if you ask me as well. And the saying again, the players have to take responsibility. You'll see this, kind of ring true in maybe a nastier way, I would say, in some of his other quotes. And he says, "I don't have a magic wand to get inside people's heads and change the resilience across a whole squad." He says it's impossible. And he kind of references this magic wand reference a lot of times, where it just seems to be some sort of cop out answer for him. I recognize that, coming into a side like Everton with those sort of players, it's not easy, but he's not making it any easier on himself the way that he kind of seems to always outwardly kind of project and outwardly, blame others instead of maybe looking at himself in certain moments. And then he also says, as well, as there's so much you can only butter someone up with confidence. And he then goes on to say there's this fine balance with it. And I don't know. I just think Frank is just a bit kind of immature in defeat. It kind of comes across here again, where he goes on a different press conference. And yeah, might I add, some of these are just from different, conferences, or different post match conferences, which I don't know. It just shows that he doesn't even calm down. Usually most managers get caught, maybe in one of them, not, all of them, it seems. He says tactics didn't even play a part. If you watch the first 20 minutes, then it didn't play a part, because he was saying, Crystal Palace couldn't get out of their own half, etc. I feel like sometimes you can't always read into the first 15, 20 minutes of games. Maybe certain games you could say, yes, like from the beginning you knew they were going to win, but there are a lot of games where that can be true. And then, right after, the game kind of settles down a bit, and you really get into a groove of things, and you obviously see who the better team is. So I feel like you can't always look into the first 15, 20 minutes. I saw him also make that reference about the Spurs match as well. So I just think it's this kind of, excuse for him, this pattern of excuses, kind of like with the magic wand reference as well. That second quote, don't really need to explain it. It's just immature. And I don't know. I just think it's kind of ridiculous. He's coming across a lot of times kind of like Jose, but my big issue is that he doesn't exactly have the managerial success and the credibility to really come out this way at the players. Like, I just think it's a bit immature. And he says, if you aren't clinical, you won't score goals. If you allow people to stroll into your box with ease, they'll finish with ease. This is another thing as well. Like, part of that is Frank Lampard's job. Let's be honest. Part of his job is to help the defense. Part of his job is to maybe fix, if there's a goal issue, if there's a creativity issue, that's part of his job. Like, you're being paid the big bucks to fix the core issues in a team right away. I mean, especially when the team needs fixing it, quickly, you need to be able to do that. You know what you're signing up for. I think there's this weird issue with Frank where he seems to not admit maybe what he knew he was getting into. And when any manager that, especially like with no credibility, like Frank, to say like, oh, I didn't know it'd be this bad. I mean, you have to prepare yourself for it. The Thierry Henry manager complex. What I mean by that is that Thierry Henry got in trouble, or kind of like, pretty much got sacked right away over at Monaco, because he kind of got accused of basically just expecting the players to play and think and do like he does. And it's just kind of a bit, again, simplistic thinking. And as a former great player, you need to go into things, with maybe a different mindset as a manager, I would imagine, where you can't expect players to think and do everything in the way that you did, because you were an unbelievable legend and an unbelievable player. Not everybody's like that. I think that's kind of maybe coming through here with Frank Lampard as well. Blaming the players and never himself. I think I don't need to explain that further. It kind of rung through true in a lot of the comments that he's made, and not only that Crystal Palace one, but I've seen it in other ones as well. I think there's good evidence for it. Poor defensively, lots of 2+ goal defeats in his career so far. Does not seem to be very good at fixing defenses, which makes me worried that maybe he won't be able to, go into another job in the future where he would then need to, fix the defense right away in a desperate situation. So, yeah, this is just kind of my problem with Frank. If it doesn't work out here with Everton, I'm really worried about his managerial career in the future because I don't think he'll get another Premier League job because he can't fix defenses easily. And it seems like, the side is often inconsistent and he's not really the most mature in defeat as well. But that'll be all, everybody. Hopefully, you kind of enjoyed this one. Just kind of my personal, kind of thoughts and issues with maybe Frank Lampard. Let me know what you think. I'll be catching you.